Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of the Create Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Misty Ray. Now, you're probably wondering, is this the place for you? Well, have you ever longed for the simple days of your childhood when you had the time to let your imagination run wild? Do you struggle to feel balanced and whole in a world which seems to turn faster and louder with each passing day? Have you ever found yourself trying desperately to remember the last time you felt truly happy? Have you ever started a creative project and immediately lost all interest because the results could never live up to what you'd pictured in your mind? Have you tried a variety of different tools and methods to get your life or mind under control, but simply can't seem to find something which works? If you were able to say yes to any of these questions, then you, my friend, are in the right place. So, what is Create Happiness? Basically, Create Happiness is self-improvement through creativity. Okay, now you're probably thinking, oh, well, I'm not creative, so this is clearly not for me. Well, okay, hear me out. Creativity in its purest form isn't about creating art or dressing in outlandish clothes to make a statement. Creativity is simply the human capacity to find original solutions to problems. Do you enjoy thinking up a varied and delicious meal plan for your family? Do you enjoy finding the perfect gifts for the people you love? Do you love maintaining a beautiful garden? Do you take pride in always cooking a steak exactly right? Do you enjoy following makeup tutorials online to try out new looks? Do you get a kick out of teaching people how to organize and master their bank accounts? Then you're creative. Listen, it's one of my most strongly held beliefs that every single human being since the beginning of time has had the capacity for creative thought. You may not think you're creative, but there's a good chance that the thing you do, which seems like you were born to do it and brings you the most pleasure, is something that somebody else wishes they were creative enough to do. Now listen, if a crow can bend a piece of wire into a hook to get food out of a bottle and have articles written about how amazingly creative it is, I assure you that you are more creative than that bird brain. Now, Create Happiness is more than just a podcast. You can visit the website at createhappiness, no spaces or punctuation, .art. You can join the Facebook community. You can search for recipes and ideas on the blog. You can participate in free challenges, like the one that's coming up in March. And once I'm ready for my official launch in a few months, you can attend one of my local workshops or purchase kits, workbooks, decorations, or tutorials through the web shop. For the next few months, I will guide you through identifying the aspects of your life where you want to improve and creating a simple, customized, personal development plan made by and for you. You don't have to struggle through all of this by yourself. Join us in the Facebook group to find a welcoming and supportive group of like-minded folks where we spend the whole month discussing and working on the topic at hand. All of the self-improvement tips and tricks that I will share with you over the coming months will be backed by scientific research. Each episode will come with links, worksheets, and or resources to allow you to dive deeper if you feel drawn into what I'm discussing. All of my podcast episodes will come with some optional homework. Sometimes it will be a worksheet for you to fill out in order to analyze and improve an aspect of your life. Sometimes it will be a simple art or craft project which ties into that month's theme. From time to time, there will be a special code for you to claim a copy of a relevant digital resource from the website. New episodes will be released on the last Friday of each month. Transcripts and show notes can be found in the podcast section of the website. I will work hard to make sure I use family-friendly language in each of my episodes. My 3-year-old daughter is my biggest fan, and I will try my hardest to make sure that I never have to kick her out of the room before listening to an episode myself. Now, who am I? Well, I'm American, but I emigrated to Belgium in 2010 after my home-based childcare business failed to survive the economic crisis of 2008. I've got a lifetime of experience with chronic illness and depression, which has led me to study the concepts of self-improvement and life management extensively over the years. I'm on a never-ending journey to bring order and calm to the chaos that is modern life. I'm an expert in being an amateur. I've learned the basics of every single arts and crafts technique available to me, and I collect, almost obsessively, arts and crafts manuals and crafting supplies. I'm a bit hyperactive, and early in my life I realized that this means my hands and mind are constantly itching to learn something new. Irritatingly, this means that I rarely finish a project in the same session in which I've started it, because my favorite moment is when I'm lost in the creative process, not when I have to focus on perfecting the finishing touches. Now, my absolute favorite thing in the entire world is to teach. I started teaching craft time in my mother's daycare when I was a very little kid myself, and I've taught various arts and crafts as well as English as a foreign language to people of all ages and experience levels. I live for the moment when my students' eyes light up with understanding and they realize that they can do the thing, which seemed impossible just a short while ago. I had a brush in late 2019, yes, right before COVID, so you can imagine how wonderful my mental health in 2020 was, with professional and emotional burnout, which led me to reevaluate the course my life had taken. I realized that my general happiness had begun to suffer when I no longer had time for creative self-expression. I started researching the link between happiness and creativity, and I fell down a total rabbit hole of eye-opening research into the benefits of creativity for self-improvement. Even if sometimes it's just the ability to look for a creative solution to a problem which no existing techniques seem to address. I could no longer allow myself to spend my working years feeling exhausted and aimless. It was time to create the life I want to live. It was time to create my own happiness. Now, for your first homework assignment, I would like you to find an empty notebook. Start a section in an old notebook you don't use anymore, or simply follow the link in the description of the episode to find a beautiful, printable journal that I've created for you. Use the coupon code PODCAST to get it for free as your reward for sticking with my episode this far. If you use digital notebooks, they may or may not work for this exercise. You know your mind and what works for you more than I do, so please choose accordingly. This notebook is your Creating Happiness journal and will be a place for you to reflect, plan, doodle, and create time for happiness in your everyday life. Every day, take 5 minutes to write the date and note down as many happy moments from your day as you can remember. You don't have to commit to doing this every single day. I found that a commitment like that can lead you to feel like a failure as soon as you've missed a day. Simply try to make a point of doing this exercise whenever you think about it. If you're a busy parent, remember I've got a 3-year-old. There's no shame in keeping your journal in the bathroom so you can sneak away for 3 precious minutes alone to jot down the silly things your kids did to make you laugh throughout the day. From time to time, your homework after an episode will be to write a longer than usual entry which relates to whatever we just discussed. Once you've set up your Creating Happiness journal, I would love to see a photo of it, either in the Facebook group, or you can send me a photo at contact@createhappiness.art. P.S. Before I go, I have a special note for my fellow word nerds. I'm going to try something new and produce this podcast in both English and French. I live deep in the Francophone part of Belgium, and I know that many of my former English students or neighbors are interested in what I'm creating. However, the English and French versions will not be direct translations. Some of what I say in one language will be more pertinent to one language group than the other. If you're French-English bilingual or trying to be, you may find it valuable to subscribe to both versions of the podcast. Or maybe you just want to laugh at my accent in French. You're welcome to do that too. Now, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today. I understand that we all have very busy lives, and honestly, the fact that you chose to use a few of your precious spare minutes to listen to this episode means so much to me. You have no idea. Please reach out to let me know what you think of this episode, or just to say hi so that I know that somebody out there is listening to this message in a bottle of a podcast. If you have a minute to spare, please consider leaving a rating and review on whichever podcast service you used to listen today. I read every bit of feedback to apply whatever I truly feel may improve the show, and oh man, you should see how ridiculous I look when I do my little happy dance each time a positive review comes in. Now stretch, relax whatever muscles you've been tensing without being aware of it. Take a drink of water, and let's get out there to create some happiness in our lives and in our world.